Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got something very special for you today. It's a brand new puzzle by GDC called Loopy Odysee, and this has a very unusual distinction. It is a 1-star rated puzzle, 1 out of 5 for difficulty, and yet it has a 99% approval rating. I cannot tell you how unusual that makes it, because obviously easier puzzles tend to be solved by more people. Inevitably, some of those people don't like an easy puzzle for some reason. It may simply be it's not hard enough for them. So to actually achieve a 99% approval rating, it's astonishing. I think it's a one-of-a-kind thing. So I'm going to try this today. The rule set's very straightforward, as you might expect. And GDC is just a wonderful constructor. The last couple of puzzles I've done of GDC's on the channel, they've both been Fog of War, and they've just been chef's kiss. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this, and I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. A couple of things to mention before we kick off today. I'm going to start by talking about the Stratford Literary Festival, which I've mentioned in a few recent videos. We thought we'd sold out all the tickets, but then they found a bigger room or something for us to do. What we're doing is a live edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Here we are. And it's at the Stratford. It's in Stratford upon Avon, not Stratford in London. So Stratford upon Avon on the 27th of October, 10 to 11. And we're going to do a live edition of Cracking the Cryptic. And I had confirmation just before I turned on the webcam. There are 20 tickets left. So if you do want to come and see us live, the tickets aren't quite as in demand as Taylor Swift, but this this is the puzzle equivalent. And well, to be honest, for Mark and me, this is just it's an extremely rare opportunity for us to meet real people who enjoy the channel. So we're really looking forward to it for that reason. And hopefully we might see some of you there. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention. Next is Patreon, where we've already had, I think, is it 90 correct solutions to our Sudoku hunt for the month of October. So the competition only launched on the 1st of October, so we're only 2 days into it. Caroline's Halloween Adventure. Here it is. Lots of Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles, and so what I've enjoyed in the comments we've had so far are people for whom this is their first experience of Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles, and you can see a couple of examples here. And the great thing about them is that you get pictures, so they sort of give you an additional reward. And yeah, anyway, the pack is approachable. It's definitely proving easier than last month's. So if you haven't had a go, do have a go. You've got until the 20th to be in with a chance of winning the competition. And then what else did I want to mention? Oh, streaming. Some of you are saying, when are we going to do more streaming from our 600,000 subscriber special pack? And the answer is, I think, next Tuesday at 10 p.m. UK time. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification for that as soon as we're just checking something. Mark's just checking his diary, but I think that's when it's going to be. And I've got 2 birthdays to do today as well. So let me first wish. I'm going to say, is it Kasia? But that might be Kate in Polish. I'm not sure. Your boyfriend Jakub wrote to us. Cassia/Kate, and said that you might appreciate a shout out today. So many happy returns. I think it must be Cassia, and then the English equivalent is Kate. I think that feels right. But anyway, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today with, of course, a large slice of heavily iced chocolate cake. And then the other birthday is Sarah the Silver Fox. Apparently I'm allowed to say that. Sarah the Silver Fox in Norway. Your boyfriend Morton wrote to us. And I know, Sarah, you've just graduated. And apparently you used Cracking the Cryptic to sort of get you through your thesis. So I hope it was helpful for that. And I wish you many happy returns today. And thank you for watching the channel. And of course, I hope you have an enormous amount of chocolate cake. And with that said and done, let's read the rules of GDC's puzzle. Loopy Odysee, with Odyssey having a strange spelling. which I probably should appreciate why. But anyway, let's read the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, which means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Then we have to draw a 1 cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells. Oh, that reminds me, I was going to show you a couple of the comments on this. Let me just show you this, because one of the comments made me laugh. I snipped these from Logic Masters Germany before I turned on the webcam. I don't know how you say should. My first solo solve of any kind of loop path puzzle. That was scary, but very enjoyable once I stopped being stupid. Thanks, GDC. And I like this one, Macintux, who says, highest compliment I can offer. I don't like loop puzzles. I'm no good at loop puzzles, but I still enjoyed this. Nice work. And then ThoughtBite, who's a brilliant constructor and solver, says, astonishing. This is without a doubt one of, if not the best 1-star puzzle out there. Close to a genuinely approachable Sudoku without being trivial and with so few clues. Anyway, so sorry, I just wanted to show you that. Right, so after we've done normal Sudoku rules, we have draw a 1 cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells. What does that mean? Well, that is an example of a loop. And it has to be of orthogonally connected cells. So what we can't do, that is not a loop, because these two cells here are not orthogonally connected. Orthogonally connected means shares an edge with, doesn't mean touches at a point. So these two cells touch at a point, that's not good enough for orthogonal connection. Right, the loop may touch itself diagonally but not orthogonally. So let's think about how that might work. So the loop could do, having difficulty, that would be a possible loop, a sort of Silverstone-esque racing circuit. And you can see the loop has touched itself here, but that's fine. What we couldn't do is claim that the loop, let's say that rather than turning here, the loop went up here and then turned. That's not good enough, because the loop would have touched itself at these 2 points, and that's also not going to be allowed. Adjacent digits on the loop differ by 5 or more. So if you're familiar with variant Sudoku, you might have heard of a German whispers constraint, and that is what is in play here. So imagine these 3 squares were on the loop. This square would have to be at least 5 different from 8, so it would have to be a 1, 2, or a 3 in order to be a valid progression. And then box borders divide the loop into segments. Circles on the loop. Okay, let's draw an example loop. I'll draw a simple loop like that, and then we'll try and understand. Oh, hang on, I know what I could do. Oh, now I've lost my loop. Where's my loop gone? I've messed it up. Let's go back. Okay, I was going to try and do it with a line, but that might not be a good idea. Box borders divide the loop into segments. Circles on the loop. Circles are on the loop, and their digits count the number of cells in their segments. So this is on the loop. In fact, I've messed up the puzzle already, haven't I? Because all the circles are meant to be on the loop. But let's just think about how this one would work. Box borders divide the loop into segments. So if I was to sort of draw, that would be a sort of a segment on its own, wouldn't it? That one there. Then we could have another segment there, look, another segment here, another segment here, etc. That's how the segments break down. And there are 3 segments along this loop segment, so that would be a 3. Oh, which actually would automatically break the puzzle. Because it would be next to a 4, and 3 and 4 are not 5 apart at least. So so I've broken it in any number of ways. Naughty Simon, don't break your loops. It will mean disappointment. You won't solve GDC's puzzle if you break your loop. But if you do make a correct loop, you will. And apparently, it's a rather wonderful thing to complete this puzzle. I'm going to have a go now. Do have a go yourselves. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. I get 3 given digits today, which I will no doubt now ignore, because I so rarely get digits in the grid. My brain has literally... It sees blue digits. Imagine that was a 9. it sees these a bit, but it really, the black coloured digits, it just phases them out. It must be here, isn't it? Isn't that where we start? All of these are on the loop, so we're going to have a colour on the loop. Let's have grey. So this is a corner of the loop, isn't it? Because we are dealing with a loop. There are no cul-de-sacs in a loop, and the loop can't touch itself, so the loop cannot go into that square. And okay, and therefore the loop has to go into those squares. And now we pause, because there's something interesting we can immediately say about this square here. And that derives, Maverick's about to fly over, that derives from the fact that there are some tricks you can do with German whispers relationships. This requirement that adjacent digits on the loop must differ by 5 or more. Because, let's ask a simple question. Can we put 5 on the loop? No is the answer, because believe it or not, the next digit on the loop would have to be at least 5 different from 5. If we go up, we're into 10 or higher, which are not Sudoku digits. If we go down, we've got 0 or lower, which are also not Sudoku digits. So what that means is that the digits on the loop cannot be 5, and therefore I find it useful to sort of think of them as either above 5 or below 5. And the reason that's useful is, imagine this was, well, this is actually now going to be above 5, isn't it? Because there are 5 cells in here, and it can't be a 5, so there's going to have to be at least 6 cells on the loop. Think about the nature of these two adjacent digits now. Even if this was 9, which it actually can't be because of this, but if this was 9, and we only deducted the minimum amount, which is 5, we'd still hit a 4, wouldn't we? I.e. the other side of 5 from the 6, 7, 8 or 9 digit. And if this was a 4, what would this digit be? Well, it couldn't be another 1, 2, 3, 4 digit. It couldn't be another digit that's lower than 5. So it would have to be a high digit again. And, whoopsie, that's a terrible, terrible example of pencil marking. So what that means is that these loops, or the loop, will oscillate polarity. It'll go high, low, high, low, high, low all the way along its journey. Now, because we've worked out this is high, one interesting thing we could immediately do with this puzzle is label every single grey cell we've got with whether it's higher or lower than 5. And the reason for that is, let's think about, I mean, you can see that this must be high, because we know this must be low because it's next to a high digit. So these are all simple to work out. But what about that one, or even this one? Well, the important thing to note is there must be a bishop's colour relationship. Because we're moving orthogonally from cell to cell, if this cell moves to this cell, how would it do it? And the answer is we don't know. But the important thing to note is it will always take an even number of steps to get from here to here, however it travels. And therefore, these will have the same polarity along the loop. So if this is high, this will be high. Now we can work this out, can't we? This is on the bishop's colour of low. So this is a low digit. This is a low digit. That's a low digit. That's a low digit. Oh, okay, all of these are low. I didn't realise, sorry. They are all on the low bishop's colour. So we can immediately label them all up 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's probably very difficult for them to be 1s, because that would imply they had a one cell segment in their box. Okay. Okay, let's move to the third trick of German whispers, which is that you can't put 6 in the middle of a German whisper line if the cells either side of that 6 see one another from a Sudoku perspective. So imagine we did put 6 in the corner. What are these two digits? Now 6 is monogamous. It only partners up with one digit along a German whisper, because there's only one Sudoku digit that is at least 5 different from 6, and that's the digit 1. So you can't put 6 here. So it's now at least a 7. And it can't... Well, here is a knowledge bomb for you. It definitely is not 8 or 9. But 8 would be funny. If it was 8, because this is not on the loop would be that. And then that's a loop. in and of itself, and all these poor little cells would be stranded and unloopable. So this is a 7. 7 can only go next to the digits 1 and 2, so let's immediately put those in. These are not now 7s. And that tells us, look, that well, what does it tell us? It tells us that we have to put 7 grey cells into box 1. But I think that there are 3 different ways of doing that at least. Let me think about that for a second. That's actually quite tricky. That is quite tricky. Wow, okay. Yeah, that is quite tricky. But actually, we can rule out... I'm not even sure I think this is a 1-star deduction. So maybe there is something easier I could do here. Let me... Okay, I'm not seeing anything straightforward. I was wondering whether Sudoku, maybe Sudoku down there is where I meant to look. Oh, hang. There is something weird about those two, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh, that can't be a 4. This can't be a 4, and it certainly can't be a 1, because it's on the loop. So to get into this box, however, we've got to get into this cell and then get out again. Oh, so hang on, that's just a 3. Ah, okay, so maybe this is, bizarrely, this might be the digit that we think about. This can't be a 1 or a 2, because to get into the cell and get out of it, even if you try and get in and out in the shortest segment you could, it would be 3 cells long. So that is a 3. Now 3 can only be surrounded by 8s and 9s on the whisper. I'm still not quite seeing. Okay, so I think I might have to show you what I've noticed about this. Now, I think there are 3 ways we can constitute 7 cells of loop in this box. So let me show them to you. First one, that sort of C shape. The second one is just a rotation of that sort of C shape. The third one, which is a bit different, is that sort of shape. I don't even know how to describe it with it then doing that, which would be very interesting. Now, I think it might end up being that last one, because let's think about this. If we did go for a C shape, the reason that it's very pretty, but it's not easy to see. The reason that fails is that we can't close the loop. We know that. So this square would have to continue, wouldn't it? And now, this has high polarity, obviously, because of its position in bishop squares. And therefore, one of these 3 digits needs to be a 6. Now, remember, 6 is monogamous. So 6 is always next to a 1 on the loop. Well, this can't be a 6 because that would put 2 1s in row 1. This can't be a 6 because that would put 2 1s in box 1. And that could be a 6 in theory, but this digit would have to be a 1, and there's already a 1 in one of those squares. So that doesn't work. And of course, if we went to this pattern instead, it's the same logic, isn't it? This has to continue down. Therefore, this can't be a 6, that can't be a 6, or that would be double 1, and that can't be a 6 because that would be a 1. So I don't think this sort of C shape or lowercase n shape is valid, which means we're in the funny shape, we're in this shape, and we're in that shape, and therefore that's green. This is green because the loop can't touch itself orthogonally. I have a lot of difficulty believing that that isn't a 4 now, but we'll come on to that in a moment. These squares are low... Oh, hang on. Yeah, these are low polarity by Bishop's colour, and this has to be therefore a 1, 2, 3 or 4. Well, it sees 1, 2 and 3, so it's a 4, and 4 is a fascinating digit. No jokes about me at parties, thank you very much, because 4 is like 6. 4 can only be adjacent to 9s on whispers. So we can immediately do this. That must be 3. This can't therefore be 6, can't be 7, can't be 9. 3 and 6 are only 3 apart, they're not 5 apart, so that's 8. These squares are a 5, 6 pair. And this, yeah, okay, where does this go? Remember, there's only 3 line segments in this box, and we've had 2 of them. So the next segment, or the next cell on the loop, has to get us out of this box. So it's either there or there. And it's a digit that is at least 5 away from 3. So it's an 8 or a 9. Well, it can't be an 8 or a 9 in this position. So it must be an 8 in that position. And then we must escape the box. So it's there. By polarity, this is now a 1 or a 2. All of these squares are now unloop. The loop cannot go into these squares. This square is high polarity and is an 8 or a 9 because it's next to 3. So my gut reaction is this must be a 4. I've got 2 cells. Yeah, I mean, how do you get to this square from a loop perspective? And the point is that in getting to the square, you could turn, but you can't then come out of the box again, can you? Because the loop will hit itself. So I think that you're going to do something like that, or that. There's no other way. No, I have to be careful here. I have to be careful because you've got to be careful with this. Oh no, okay. Well, what I was wondering about is could I not connect these through box 4? So could I have done this, for example, and then this could have been a 3. Except, why doesn't that work? Well, the only way these two aren't connected in the same segment, if we try and keep these apart, well, therefore we can't go here, can we? From here, because that would cause the loop to continue. So we'd have to close that off. This has to be therefore a corner of the loop. If we're keeping these apart, these aren't in the same segment. This is a corner of the loop, and so we are going to force this 7 to be in this segment with a low digit on the wrong bishop's colour. This is high, this should be high polarity and is low. That's a bit tricky. That is another tricky step. So these are in the same segment, so this is a 4. And therefore 4 must be next to 9. So there must be a 9 in one of these, and that must be 8. And 4 can only be next to 9 on the loop. So given there's an entry and an exit for this loop cell, where is the 9 that isn't one of those? Well, the 9 must be here, mustn't it? And that tells us that the loop can't go there. The loop must go there. This is how the loop moves. This is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. This square... yeah, that's a 1 or a 2. Okay, we don't know what this is. But all of these squares now are not loop. This is where the loop goes next. This square is 1, 2, or 3, I think. Yeah, lovely. How could the loop go into the corner? If the loop goes in the corner, this square here would be high polarity. Well, what digit would it be? It can't be 9, it can't be 8, it can't be 7, so it would be 6. And this would be a 1, and when the loop moved on, this would be a 1 as well. That will not work. So this square in the corner is light green. The loop continues here. This square is, well, that's lovely. It's 6 or 7 by high polarity bishop's colour logic. And it's not 6 because that would be surrounded by double 1. So it's a 7. This is a 1 or a 2. Oh, well, okay, where's 4 in this column? That's quite an important question, actually. Well, yeah, I mean, we could think about it more simply by saying that a 7 on a whispers line must be surrounded by a 1 or a 2, or 1 and a 2 in this instance, because This is in the middle of the box, and that square cannot be a 1 or a 2. So the loop must go there next, and this is a 1 or a 2. And that's going to connect, well, probably, actually. Yeah, I think it has to connect here, otherwise this will be stranded. That's definitely green. Where's 4 in this column was the question that did occur to me, and we can put that in now by our old friend, that fair weather friend Sudoku. Oh, okay, so now I'm going to come back to a question that I was thinking about before, but I think I sort of know the answer. And that is, these cannot be, obviously these can't be in the same segment, can they, of the loop in box 8? Because if they were in the same segment, they would contain the same digit. That's how the rules work. So there is some... I mean, so this could do that, for example. Oh, it can't do that. But, I mean, if that did that and that did that, for example, that is, I can see a conceivable way that the loop could move. In fact, hang on, this is on the loop. We know that, and this cannot be on the loop because it would have the wrong bishop's colour polarity. So that is off the loop. And how is this not a 3? That might be the best way of thinking about this. We know by bishop's colour it's low polarity. It's not 4. It is a 1, 2 or a 3. But however the loop moves, it's going to take 3 cells to get out. The segment cannot be 1 or 2 that gets the loop in or out of this square. So that must be 3. This isn't 3. And now the loop can't go here because the segment wouldn't get out. So the loop goes there. And I think it must just go straight across box 8 and come out here. And now this square is so this is now a corner of the loop, and that is how the loop moves, and that is a 1. This is just, it's spectacularly clever. 3 is surrounded by 8s and 9s, and by Sudoku we've got some jiggery pokery we can perform there. Look, where is... Oh, nearly. Where's 8 in this box? I nearly got it. That can't be loop because the loop would touch itself orthogonally. All of these squares are off limits for the loop now. These squares are high. That square's high as well. So let's just fill in all the options and see what it means. So this square is 6 or 7. That square is not 9. That square is not 7 or 9. I don't see... Oh, no, it could be. I was about to say I don't see how that could be a 6, but it could be if that was a 1. So, all right, this... Oh, this is... Look, this is a 2. It's got to be a low digit, and it's not 1, 3, or 4. So that's 2, that's 7. And... Okay. Well, that... Oh, actually, that's a bit... worrying in a way. I thought the loop was just going to close up here, but it can't. 7 would need to be next to 1 or 2, and this cannot be a 1 or a 2 by Sudoku. So the loop needs to go here. Oh, I see, and that can be a 1. And if it goes here now, this is a 6, so it doesn't go there. It has to turn up. And this digit is... Oh, well, it's 6 or 9 by Sudoku. We know it can't be 6 because it would need a 1 on the other side of it. So that's 9. This can't be loop anymore. What can't be loop, Simon? So this is loop. This square here is 2 or 3 by Sudoku. So it can't be next to a 6. So that's an 8. And for our next trick, there's an 8 here, so that's... Oh, hang on, that is a 6. Well, okay, where's the continuation? It can't be there because 6 must be next to 1, so it's there. And now, if that's the continuation, that is an 8 into this square, and then we'd have to go here with a low digit, which would be a 2. It would be a 2 exactly. And then we go here. Or we could go here with a 7 or an 8, a 7 in fact. Okay, I don't actually see how to do that. That's interesting. All right, let's resort to Sudoku. That's a 7 by Sudoku. That's an 8 by Sudoku, isn't it? It's got the right polarity, so I sort of want to assume this, but assumption is not logic, so we won't do that yet. This is 3, 5, and 6 to complete this box. So these squares need to be... Oh no, hang on, I've made a mistake, haven't I? No, that's a relief. It's a mistake I can easily remedy. Actually, this is not 3, 5, or 6. I've got 3 in the box. It's 5, 6, or 8. So this is 5. This is 8, and this is 6. So we almost get a 6 in box 2. These squares are a 3, 4 pair. That's useful. That makes this a 2. Now, what about... Yeah, there's a 5, 6 pair in the bottom of the grid. Look, oh, I can keep in those squares. This is a 5 or a 6. There's a... Oh, I see. So it's where's 3? That's a 3. 3 is in one of these squares. These are from 3, 5, and 6 by Sudoku. I mean, this is outrageous, being made to do Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle. Okay, what's going on? All of these squares can't be loop. That can't be loop. So, okay, so how does the loop get out of box 5 is a reasonable question, isn't it? So it's got to come through that little gap there, which means this is a 2 by dint of the fact it can't be 1, 3, or 4. 2 we know must be next to, well, this digit here is therefore 7 or 9. Not sure. This digit is no longer 2. I suppose this could be 1 if we just go like that, couldn't it? So we need to be a bit careful here. If this is on the loop, this is a 7 by Sudoku. And if this is on the... Oh, wait a moment. Yeah, I can't go here now. That's lovely. Look at this column of the grid. I've got all high digits placed. So the simple way of seeing it is the loop cannot go here, because by polarity this would be high, and it should be 6, 7, 8, or 9, which it can't be. So that's where the loop goes next. This needs to be a high digit that is not 6, 8, or 9. It is 7. That's 9, therefore. Okay, so we need 3, 4, and 5. This is 3 by Sudoku in box 5. This is a 4, 5 pair. And we might want to even think about doing, yeah, where's 7 in column 6? That's a 4. And these squares are 5 and... Oh, are they 5 and 6? That's not resolved. Okay, these are 1 and 2. Also unresolved. These are all green. And well, that's a 3 by Sudoku. Okay. That could be a 4. Oh no, or could it? Actually, that's interesting. How could that... Oh, in fact, it's definitely not a 3. So my question now becomes more pertinent. How could that be a 4? That would imply that 4 of those 6 squares were on the loop. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think it is impossible to consume 4 of those 6 cells without taking that 8. And if you take that 8, it needs to have it's got the wrong bishop's colour. There's no way. There's no way you can do it. So this is a 1, and that's beautiful because that closes the loop. We've finished our loop. There we go. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Whoops. Okay, that's now a 2. That's a 1. There's 4 1s looking at box 3, so we ought to be able to put that 1 in there. This is high and is 9. Can't be 6 because it's not surrounded by double 1. But let's finish all the green squares so we can feel like there's the loop. Now, okay, not only have I finished the loop in terms of its structure, I've finished it in terms of its digits. And the terrifying thing about that is that that implies that Sudoku is going to get us home from here, which is somewhat surprising. Oh, I see. Look, there's this row is perhaps what I've missed. Okay, there 2, 3, and 5. And that is, oh, I see. So we get the 2. What do we need in this box then? We need 4, 6, 7, 9. So 9 is placed. And now I need 4, 6, and 7, and that can't be 7. And that can't be 6 because there's a 5, 6 pair in the column. And 4. Oh, nearly. I thought I was going to get 4 in column 9, but I can't quite get it because these two 4s look like they might be being helpful. Well, they are a little bit helpful. They place 4 there, don't they? Now what? Maybe row 2? Should we try that? 5, 6, and 7? No, I don't think that was it. Oh no, that is it. Look, this digit. That can't be a 5, 6. So that is 7. And that is going to do work. So that's now a 4. That's a 6. That's a 7. That's a, whoops, that's a 4. That's a 5. That's a 6. 6, 5. 5. 5, 6. Yeah. 6, 5. 4, 3. No 3 in the corner today. Or at least, no, there isn't. We're not going to get a 3 in the corner. This is an 8. This is not a 7. So these are from 3, 5, and 6. Oh, I hope I haven't left myself with a deadly pattern, have I? Oh, no, don't leave yourself with a deadly pattern, Simon. Oh, okay, no, it's not that digit, is it? That's a 2. Hang on. Oh, I see. I've got a 5 here. I was thinking this can't be. Oh, it isn't. It's absolutely gorgeous. That is a relief. That is a relief. There we are. What a lovely, lovely puzzle that is. Let's see if it's right. Yes. 222 people have done that in a day. Well, I'm not surprised because basically I think everybody is seeing this on Logic Masters Germany and just going, what? A one star 99% puzzle. I must have a go. And you can see, well, of those who've had a go, hundreds have solved it correctly. It's brilliant. It's GDC. I mean, maybe those two descriptions of something are now completely synonymous. GDC is so consistently excellent, and that is another worldie. With the additional distinction, it's something I begged for the other day, actually. You know, easier but still beautiful puzzles. It's a very hard thing to do, and GDC has done it again. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.